Yo guys, what's up? It's your main man here, Double H Half Up here for your weekly Q&A, where you guys can send in questions and I pretty much answer them. So, remember to get your question answered, you simply go onto the official website, halfupfootballhot.com. You scroll down to the email us, you put in your email, your name, and whatever, and you can ask me a football question or a non-football question. And guys, try and keep it one question each. One question, because I think it's unfair if one guy can ask multiple questions. So try and keep it to one question per person, so I can really get questions answered from different kinds of people, different questions for different people. So ask me anything football related or non-football related. Without further ado, let's try and go through these questions, because I want to make sure I go through them all through this one video. So forgive me if I do not spend too long on one of them, because there are a lot of these questions to go through. Okay, MC, hey HH, I know you are the best in the business, and I just wanted to know if there are any books you would recommend for getting into the deep tactics of the game. To be honest, I think the best book I can really think of is, I think this was Cruyff's book about total football. I remember reading this back when I was in school. So I read this when I was, I must have been, God, I think I must have been 12 or 13. Yeah, I think I read this when I was 12 or 13. So it was about just the total football and what the total football ethos meant when Cruyff was writing. Yeah, why? My gosh, what the hell did I read that when I was 12? So yeah, I mean, that's a good book to read. Beyond that, I think that's really the best book I would say. And I mean, read Pirlo's book though. It may not be tactical, but it is interesting to get into the mind of a genius, and one of the few geniuses of football, which is Pirlo. So I think that's an interesting one just to read, just based on thinking about how his mind works. So I think that's based on the mind of a genius of a player, and how he lives, and his personality, and how he interprets the game. And the Cruyff book of Total Football, again, because it just went into the details of the tactics of the game. So I think those are two books to look at. Shane Schubert, HWH, first time submitting a question, but I've been watching your videos since 2014 World Cup. Thank you. I know you have said that Germany is too good to win this again this summer. How would you set the starting lineup? More specifically, who plays alongside Reus in a double pivot, and which wide players would you choose? Is it difficult to choose between a healthy Reus, Draxler, Sané, and of course Thomas Muller if he's in form? Thanks to keep up the great work. I think you have to start with Sané and Draxler. Hopefully Sané will be fit. For Toni Kroos, I think you're going to have Khedira. If Khedira is fit, he's a perfect complement for Toni Kroos, because Kroos being the pass-first midfielder, Khedira being much more of the physical, raw, robust, to destroy, who really stabilizes the midfield. So two different kinds of midfield players. Draxler, in my opinion, is one of the best dribblers in the game. So here, having him on one side, and Sané has had an absolutely stupendous, incredible season under Guardiola so far. So I think with both of them on both flanks, that is going to be deadly. And you have to play Muller. No matter how bad Muller plays, he's so good that you need to still play him. Shadow Hodl, hey, it's me again. I would like a tutorial on Premiere Pro, and also, do I need a camera and microphone? If so, do you have any suggestions? Apart from that, I have 3 questions. How do you rank Charisma, Ben Arfa, Balotelli, and Taarabt talent-wise? Which one disappointed you the most? Lastly, why do you think Robin's trademark skill is still so unstoppable? So, yeah, I can give you a tutorial if you want. I'm not sure how I may do a video on that, or just give it to you in private. Or just send me an email. Need a camera and a microphone? Yes, you need a camera and a microphone. I have this. I use the Lumix G camera, and I've got a mic over there just mounted. So it's a separate Rode mic that I mount upon the camera. Charisma, I think I've always said Charisma is more talented than Cristiano, but Cristiano just puts in the work harder than him. Ben Arfa, talented, he's alright. Balotelli, for me, one of the most unrealized talented strikers of the generation. If Balotelli really fulfilled his potential, he would go down as one of the best strikers we've ever seen. And Taarabt, I think Taarabt was really a five-a-side player. So I think the most disappointing has to be Balotelli. And why is Robin Stradbroke so unstoppable? Is because he's so good at it. When you're so good at something and you've perfected it so well, it makes it very, very hard for people. So remember, guys, work at your craft. Karun, hello HH, I've been watching your videos since 2012. Love all your content and your knowledge on the football because it's second to none. So keep up the great work, bro. Alright, I have 3 questions. 1, how can I join the Hangouts? You log into Google, you tell me your Google name via Twitter, and you click the link that I post on Twitter. So log into Google, tell me your username on Google, and make sure you click the link that I put out on Sunday nights on Twitter. 2, do you believe that there is such thing as karma in this world, and why? Yes, I do, because I've just seen karma take place many times, and many instances I've just seen certain things happen where I've said, boom, that is karma. So I do believe in karma, yeah, and I do believe it within a force in the world. Do you think if Arsenal gets Diego Simeone or someone of his caliber, and Arsenal but fully backs him, would he be a contender for Premier League or even Champions League? Potentially, I think they need to really back him. But if they really did back him, then I think for sure, yes, they would definitely be in for the Premier League. No question there. Fuvu, what's up? Do you really think Hazard is up there with Messi, Cristiano, and even Neymar? Because I think he's overrated to some extent. I know he's fine in the Premier League, but performing on big stages like Champions League and International have been an issue for him. Where would you rate him? Give an honest opinion. And do you think Mbappe is another Rashford in the making? No, Mbappe is better than Rashford. Don't ever compare Mbappe to Rashford again. And I think talent-wise, ability-wise, I believe Hazard is better than Cristiano. And I feel he is he's a level below Messi and Neymar. The guy's ability, remember his ability, what he can do with the ball, and just his natural gift is absolutely outstanding. And what he can do as an individual has been absolutely amazing. Adam Friedrikowski. Hi, HH. Do you think a key factor of England's failure as an international side in recent years is that all the players play in the Premier League, which in my opinion isn't the best league in terms of quality of football? And who's your dark horse for the World Cup? Dark horse for the World Cup, I'd probably say it seemed like Croatia or Colombia. Basically, Croatia or Colombia. No, Croatia, Colombia. No, Portugal or Colombia. Those are my 2 dark horses. And yes, because England play in the Premier League and they do not play outside of it, I think that is definitely a hindrance for them because they're not really exposed to better technical football. Shad Hodl again. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's your opinion on Kaka? What do you think went wrong with him at Real Madrid? And do you think Reus could be one of the best in the world, if not for injuries? Kaka, I think he's good, but I just felt that he was overrated. And Real Madrid, it just doesn't work. He worked at AC Milan, doesn't work at Real Madrid because those were just different systems. And I think he's a player who needs a specific system to thrive. And yes, if for Reus he did not have those injuries, I believe he would be one of the best in the world. So Kavish Beardry, hey HH, I'm a Bayern fan. I also realized that you have 10 Bayern players within your tier of greatest players, 3 in tier 1, 3 in tier 2, and 4 in tier 3. Do you think we have a realistic chance of winning the Champions League? Thanks, bro. Keep posting more and more videos. I watch all. And also, who do you think is the greatest player ever from Trinidad? Dwight York or Shaka Hislop? I would possibly say York is the best player, but I think the greatest player I think Hislop is the greater player. I think what Hislop did and his longevity in the Premier League makes him greater than Dwight York. And I think Bayern have a chance of Champions League. I think they are dark horses because of what Heinkes has done, how well James has fit into the team, and how he's realized his role in the team. I think they're definitely a team that cannot be slept upon. Okay. AJ. HH recently said Kelechi Iheanacho has to prove himself and make Nigeria's World Cup squad based on merit. But in limited playing time, he has scored more goals than Victor Moses and Alexi Iwobi combined this season in all competitions. So is there any Nigerian attacking player who should be a lock to make their World Cup squad? No. There's nobody should really be a lock because I don't think anybody is playing well enough for them to be a lock. But I believe whether he's playing well or not playing well, Nigeria's best attacking player is Moses. Nigeria's most gifted player is Victor Moses. I believe if Nigeria had to have any chance of coming out of a very difficult group, Victor Moses has to play. Moses is the guy that makes Nigeria from a good team to a team that can really beat teams. He is extremely crucial. And for me, he has to be a lock. Not only based on merits, just based upon he's our best player. And your best player has to always be in that squad. Because even if they don't play well, they can always create something that can actually make it happen for you. But yeah, Kelechi Iheanacho, very good that he's been getting those FA Cup goals. I'm very pleased. Big Rich, hey HH, what do you think is the best anime? Fist of the North Star. It's an anime film that was done back in the 90s or so forth. One of the most violent things I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, guys, if you can track this down, Fist of the North Star, an absolutely incredible anime. And I remember I went to Japan, and I played a Japanese guy on Fist of the North Star game at an arcade in Japan. I got my ass kicked, but I did get one round off of him, so I'm happy about that. The Finesse, hello HH. Been a subscriber only since Christmas, but I've watched nearly a year's worth of content. Oh, thank you. So you guys go back to it. So your intuitive analysis of the beautiful game is entertaining, whilst insightful for any true football fan, despite my Chelsea allegiances. But now to the question. Considering Fabregas at his peak, his longevity is near flawless. His longevity, his near flawless trophy cabinet, including a World Cup final assist. 1. How highly do you rate him now and all time? As of now, I think he's a decent player. All time, I do feel Fabregas is slightly underappreciated, and I do feel that for his role for Barcelona and for Spain, I really don't think people really appreciated just how good of a passer he was, and how he was able to execute a very difficult pass. I think he's slightly underappreciated. So, can he sniff Horseman status if he matches, eclipses Guardiola's managerial career along with his superior playing career? Nope. He can't sniff a Horseman status. Can't happen. Sorry. 3. And lastly, do you think a summer move to United could win the Manx the league this year? Unless do you think a summer to Thank you for the consistent content. Now, I don't think him even moving to United would change things. That they need a better, younger player. Okay. So remember, guys, I said that I'm only going to take really one question from people because I think that's the best way to do it. So James Lombardo, what are your thoughts on West Ham signing Patrice Evra on a free? Do you worry for them as the entire defense, including their goalkeeper, is now over 30? Also, do you think is better at this current moment? And who do you think is better at this current moment, Zabaleta or Evra? I would say it's probably Zabaleta. Maybe, but I'll say maybe Evra. But I think, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Evra is too old, and you need a younger player. I don't know. Evra can offer you experience, especially in the Premier League, but this is a fast league, a very, very fast league, and I'm not sure that Evra has the speed to be able to keep up with the pace of the Premier League, especially in the position that he plays in. I mean, him up against a very fast winger, he'd be screwed. So that is the danger. Yared, who do you think are the most underrated players in the following positions? Keeper, centre-back, full-back, midfielder, winger, and striker. I'd go for Alisson, Socrates, Gulam, Gundogan, Willian, and Werner. Keeper, I would say Oblak. I still think people don't really rate him as much. I think I'll say Handanovic. He may be old, but for me, Handanovic, I believe, is still one of the best keepers in the world. Centre-back, people are coming around to him, but I think Umtiti. I think Umtiti, and look, maybe I would say Vertonghen. I'll probably say Vertonghen. I think people are really understanding Umtiti is important, but I'll probably say Vertonghen. Fullback, underrated fullback. Maybe Carvajal, because I don't think people talk more about him. So, or even Gulam. I mean, yeah, Gulam is another good shout. Midfielder, Eriksen. For me, I think Eriksen is arguably one of the best in his position in the world. I think Eriksen as a midfielder, I think is damn good. Winger, Willian is a good shout. I mean, although I would say Willian more so last season. So for me, I would probably say when he's on it, Coman. When Coman decides to actually play well and actually is on it, Coman is an extremely good winger. But it just depends which Coman you get. And striker, you know what? I'd agree with you. I would say Werner. Werner has been pretty damn good. I think Werner is a good shout. or Bailey, Leon Bailey. I think Leon Bailey is doing absolutely amazing for Leverkusen. Dylan Holmes. Hey, HH. What do you think has been the biggest issue preventing Tottenham from seriously coming close to winning a trophy? When I see Tottenham now, I am reminded of City in 2009 when they were building their team but still not coming close to winning a trophy. What do you think they have to do to change their mentality into a winning mentality and truly come as close as possible to winning something? Relating it to City again, Man City won the FA Cup after beating their rivals and the best team in the country at the time, Man United, in the semi-finals. A month later, they went to Old Trafford and beat them 6-1, which broke a massive mental block in City's head at the time and made them feel they could win the league, which they went on to do. Even though I think this Tottenham team is better than that City team and this Arsenal team is much worse than that United team, I still wouldn't trust Spurs to beat Arsenal in a tight semi-final and they have not managed to win at the Emirates in recent years, even when Arsenal have been crap. For me, I think Tottenham are missing a true superstar player. I'll say it. Harry Kane is very good. Eric Harrison is very good. You put Bale in this Tottenham team, they win a league. They can win a trophy. I think they're missing that superstar player who, in a big game, he's going to make a play and is going to really make something happen. They're missing that dude, and I think because they don't have that dude, there will always be a team that's so close, but never really able to really, make it happen. So I think for sure, 100%, I would say because they do not have that superstar player, that is why they're not able to really win anything, and I think that will continue to be the case. So yeah, Max Okunov, hey Agent, how are you doing? My question this week is, what do you think is the greatest movie trilogy, and why do you think that Dark Knight Rises was crap? What's your opinion on the Spider-Man trilogy, and what movies would you recommend me to watch? It could be old, I mean, doesn't matter. Name me at least 5, please. It's just a habit that I developed watching movies in my spare time. Thank you, my brother. You're the best. Oh, I love this question. So, greatest movie trilogy for me. I still say it is. Let's see what John Wick 3 does. Because if John Wick 3 is great and amazing, then the John Wick trilogy will be the greatest movie trilogy of all time. But let's wait until John Wick 3. As of now, I've got to say Star Wars. The original Star Wars trilogy, in my view, is the best movie trilogy as far as a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's the story arc, and that's how well it does the 3 films. For me, it is still the best trilogy. I think, people look at the Lord of the Rings, but I didn't think Return of the King was that strong a story. It was a massive spectacle, but it was not really that strong a story. So I think for sure I would say the what did I say again? Best movie trilogy is, oh gosh, I just went to blank. So would it be Star Wars? Dark Knight Rises is crap. I mean, that is a video within itself, but so put very simply, Batman doesn't come out in the day. Batman's costume was crap. The very fact you're making Batman quit and retire is stupid when you think of what it took for him to become Batman in the first place. For instance, his parents were killed. So the concept of you retiring when, mate, crime doesn't just go away. So that makes no sense. The ending has been one of the dumbest endings I've ever seen in my life, with a bomb where he nukes himself. The dialogue was cringeworthy. Catwoman was an abomination. Bane was an abomination. I couldn't even hear what the hell he was saying. The film was just a mess. It was too overblown, too preachy, too pretentious, and it was just awful film. Spider-Man trilogy, not a fan. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. That was the comic I actually read the most. And for me, Spider-Man Homecoming is the best Spider-Man film ever made. Fact. And Tom Holland, for me, is the Spider-Man that I think of when reading the comics. I was never a fan of Tobey Maguire. He just never really did it for me. So I think when I look at those 3 films, it's not really my cup of tea. What movies would you recommend me watching? Okay, I'll give you those 5 off the top of my head. The Chaser. It's a Korean film, Hunted Down. Excellent film. The Game by David Fincher, starring Michael Douglas. Jacob's Ladder, starring Tim Robbins. Midnight Cowboy, starring John Voight and Dustin Hoffman, and Gattaca, sci-fi film starring Ethan Hawke. Very, very good sci-fi films. Maybe you've seen some of those. So those are the 5 there. So again, I can't remember. So I said Gattaca, Midnight Cowboy, Jacob's Ladder, The Chaser, and I can't remember the last one that I said, but I think you can probably remember. So those are the ones that I would choose. Oh, no, now this you need to know. 100% you need to get this one. The one's 100% Battle Royale. Japanese film made in 2000. Excellent, amazing film. If you think Hunger Games was very, very wild, this is Hunger Games before Hunger Games. So 100% hunt down the Battle Royale. You will definitely love that. Alessio, hi HH. In recent discussed kits a bit, I mentioned being a kitted. I am as well. I was wondering what was your favorite Italy kit aside from the 2001 you mentioned. My all-time favorite one was the 2006 kit. Not just because we won, but because I'm a big fan of gold fonts and the navy gradient meshed well to make a real super kit. I also like the 2010 one, the 2001. Don't mind the 2004 one. Don't mind the 08 one. 2014 was fine. So was the 2012, and the special 2009 one is actually underrated. Your thoughts? I've got to say with you, I mean, all nice suggestions. I've got to go back to the 2000. I mean, the thing about the 2000 was it was different. That's the tight fits, the look, the cuts, the design for me I felt was iconic, was bold, was different. Because remember, Roma also had that same one as well. I don't know whether Roma had this before Italy or Italy had this before, but for me that just looks like it's what Italians do. Those are the guys that invented suits. So, but just that cut, what it looked like, how it was a tight fit, and how it was. What I liked about that kit was it was different, completely different from what anybody else was wearing. Hence why I love the Cameroon kits of 2002 World Cup. So yeah, I'm still going to say that Euro 2001 just is easily streets ahead of most other kits that I've ever seen. Nat Neil, hello, half full football. I'm a Barca fan, and my question is, who do you think is better, Xavi or Iniesta? Iniesta. Xavi is a better central midfielder, but as far as footballing skill, Iniesta is one of the best football players of his generation. And for me, easily, I mean, for me, if people may call me crazy, it's not even close. Iniesta is easily the better player. Manfred Gunza, hey H, I have a few questions. One, what are your thoughts on Carlos Caval's impact on Swansea, and do you think they will stay up? I'm not sure whether they will stay up, but he's had an amazing impact. Amazing impact. 2, exactly when did you stop supporting Chelsea, and what was the last game you paid to go at Stamford Bridge? Last game at Stamford Bridge, I think it was against Fulham years ago, long time ago. This must be like early 2000s. When I get divorced from Chelsea, I think it was around the John Terry time. Around the whole John Terry feud with Anthony Ferdinand was when I said, okay, man, I think I need to step away from this based off principle. 3, what do you think needs to be done to introduce more black managers in the game? Currently, the only black manager in the Premier League is Chris Hughton, and the only other one I can think of is Clarence Seedorf, who recently became the manager of Deportivo in Spain. And 4, do you agree with the Rooney rule? I do agree with the Rooney rule because, again, it forces people to hire managers of other ethnicities, because when people say, "Oh, the best man for the job," the best man for the job always seems to be a white guy. So come on, give some other guys a go. And I do believe that it's about culture change, and it comes from the clubs. The clubs have to change their mindset and their view and how they view minorities, and by giving minorities just the opportunity. Nobody wants a handout. Nobody wants a handout. All people want is just the flipping opportunity. Ben Joel, hey HH, if it's possible, could you tell us the players who were at one point in the Brick Academy that managed to make it out and get into your rankings? The ones I can think of are Ozil, Sterling, and Thiago Silva. Also, basically, Ozil and Sterling are definitely the 2 main ones. Also, what impossible things have you always wanted to do? I've always wanted to either jump over the Grand Canyon or fly. I've really always wanted to fly. I still do. Personally, I've always wanted to know what a Krabby Patty tastes like. See if the moon landing actually happened and sacrifice Jerry to Tom. Oh, come on, man. No. Don't you dare do that. I'm a huge fan of Jerry. Don't sacrifice Jerry to Tom. And yeah, man, was the moon landing real? You look at the flag that was billowing, and people say that there is no wind on the moon. So how can a flag billow when there's no wind on the moon? And you went to the moon in the 60s. How come we've not been to the moon since then? How come we don't have a moon base? You landed on the moon in the 60s, and since then we have not actually gone onto the moon and investigated it further. Those dudes didn't land on that flipping moon. I'm sorry. Udonyang Itatsa. Okay, hello to my brother, double fist in the air. Football is life, man. I have a few questions for you. One, remember the likes of Vialli, Blanc, Ronaldo playing the UEFA Cup and Copenhagen Cup. Do you think the UEFA Cup will ever get back its shine? Nope. Was it a mistake to merge both cups just to overly brand the Champions League? Yes. What do you think about 4 substitutions in a football match? No. I like to keep it to 3 because it makes managers have to think and puts them under pressure, which I like. 3. If you were at the helm of Nigerian football, what 3 things would you do first for a change? Change the NFF, make them much more organized, invest more into the youth system, and hire coaches from Portugal, Spain, Italy to run youth workshops for Nigerian schools and Nigerian youth players. 4. I think Vincent Enyama is Nigeria's greatest goalkeeper. Yeah, he is. Dosu was pretty good though. I would say Dosu is a close second, but Enyama is Nigeria's greatest keeper. Zachary Yates. My name is Zachary, and I've been watching your videos for a little over a year now. Since your post-match analysis for Chelsea 2-1 Man City from last season, I'm a City fan. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Last time you said that Aurier would be a better signing than Kyle Walker. Without trying to sound biased, do you think this is still the case? Yes. Aurier cannot even get ahead of Trippier at the moment, which is stupid. Aurier is easily the better player than Kyle Walker. Do you think Bernardo Silva has been a flop this season, or do you think he needs time to adapt to the league? He needs time, hasn't been given enough minutes. Finally, how much credit do you give Pep for City's achievements this season? As I know you're not his biggest fan. I'm not his biggest fan, but I give him a lot of the credits, possibly most of the credits. His coaching has been absolutely phenomenal. Abdul, hello, Halfhope. I love your daily content. I watch your videos every day, so keep up the good work. Thank you. Question is, who do you think is the best playmaker in this current time? In my opinion, it is Messi. Ozil, if he has his day. I think he's the best in the world because he has vision, dribbling abilities, and great passing. Every attribute a world-class midfielder needs. So I would like to know what your opinion is. Yes, Ozil on his day is the best playmaker in the world. On his day. Because he doesn't ever have his day, and at times when he goes to sleep. But when Ozil is at his best and he's on it, nobody sees a pass like him. Because I remember a guy just posted a tweet where you see Ozil making a pass, and it was an assist to Monreal. And the dude said that you realize that Ozil is assisting to Monreal, who isn't even in the picture. That just shows you how amazing his vision is, because he can see the pass even before the pass is being made, which just makes him such a great playmaker and a midfielder and a creative man to have in your team. Guys, thank you for the questions. Those were a lot of questions. I remember again for next week, because I know I may have missed some, you are only allowed 1 question per week. If you ask 2 or 3, I can't read it because these are a lot to go through. So 1 question per week. Only 1 question per person per week. So keep it to that. But remember, I love those non-football questions. So please send me more non-football questions. I love film questions as well. I love asking those. But anything as well, politics, basketball, other sports, send them to me. So I will see you again next week for this WH Q&A. Peace.